Warning, the following podcast contains adult content, adult language, and adult situations. I talk openly about sex and explicit topics. If you are under the age of 18 or are uncomfortable listening to sexually explicit narratives, please listen no further. I am not a professional therapist, counselor, or doctor. I'm just an average guy in the swinger lifestyle who likes to share his experiences. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Please seek a professional if you are in need of advice, guidance, or care as it relates to sexual health or alternative lifestyles. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Evan Swings, a podcast about the swinger lifestyle. From my perspective, I'm Evan. I'm your host of this podcast, and I'm half of a lifestyle couple. My wife, Eva, is the other half. Thank you very much for joining me for episode 9. I want to start off with a quick note about my last episode, which I co-hosted with my wife, Eva. So if you haven't caught that, might be fun to go back and take a listen to episode 8 because my wife actually joins me for the podcast. It was a lot of fun. But after we went back and listened to it, we felt that maybe something we said came across as pretentious, rude, arrogant, maybe. So I just wanted to clarify something on our behalf. We talked about meeting couples that we ended up not being attracted to when we met them in person. So in the episode, we said that they were not attractive, and that was not a fair assessment. Okay, what we should have said was that they were just not attractive to us. Okay, so we all have our preferences when it comes to physical appearances, and these particular couples that we talked about, we just didn't feel like there was a match. So we may not have found them attractive, but that does not mean they were not attractive people. So our apologies. We didn't want to sound like assholes, and we may have. So, we apologize if we came across that way. So, moving on. I'm going to start off this episode with a topic that may be uncomfortable for some, but it is very important. It's something that is discussed, but often it's not discussed enough. Again, in my opinion, because it's uncomfortable for some people, but it really shouldn't be. If you were in the lifestyle, it is something that you need to be aware of. It exists. I wish it didn't, but it does. So awareness is key. And that topic is STDs or STIs. Like it or not, and obviously probably not, they do exist, and it is important to address it if you are in the lifestyle. So I wanted to tell you about how Eva and I address it. First of all, condoms are a must for us. Okay, now we do have some exceptions, okay, but for the most part, condoms are a must whenever we go on play dates. Now, admittedly, condoms suck, all right? They suck really bad. For me, and from what I have heard many other guys, they affect performance big time. I almost never have a complete, full-blown erection when I wear a condom, okay? they decrease sensitivity. It has to be stated that sex just doesn't feel as good while wearing a condom. Okay, and I want to say that's a fact. Maybe it's just my opinion, but I'm thinking it's a fact. It just doesn't feel as good. And of course, I'm speaking from a guy's perspective. I did ask Eva about this so that I can include her input, prior to recording this episode. And she says that when a guy wears a condom, the difference in feeling for her is minimal. She said the biggest thing she notices is that guys are usually not as hard. And that's what makes it feel less good for her. Another podcast I was listening to mentioned that when you have sex, you feel two major sensations: friction and pressure. So when you put a condom on, you virtually eliminate the friction, and all you're left with is the pressure. So by that math, condoms can decrease sensitivity, decrease pleasure by 50%. So yeah, they suck. I can't think of a single person who would say they prefer the feeling of condoms to not using condoms. They suck, but they are an unfortunate necessity. Now, Eva and I do have a rule, though. We like to find one other couple, a couple that we trust completely, a couple that we play with on a relatively regular basis, maybe like every month or two, and we work out an agreement with them. They are the only couple we don't use condoms with, and we are the only couple they don't use condoms with. Condoms for all other couples any of us play with. And we all agree to get routinely tested. Eva and I both get tested 3 or 4 times a year, and we usually try to stagger them too. So doing this gives us the opportunity to play with at least one other couple without condoms, while still maintaining some sense of security from STDs. Okay. Now, just for the record here, I keep calling them STDs. I know that I think the shift has been changing that to STIs. I have a hard time because I've been calling them STDs for so long. I'm having a hard time changing them to, changing my way of saying things to STIs, but I will try. But please forgive me if I just, go back and forth between the two. But I'm here today to tell you that even condoms are not 100% effective against the transmission of STIs. And we learned that the hard way. So I'm going to be very honest about this. I'll get to that story. But I also wanted to note that that our rule about the one no condom couple, that rule evolved over time. So at one point we had 2 couples we played with regularly with whom we did not use condoms. One couple, we used the rules I previously mentioned. But the other couple simply flat out refuses to wear condoms with anyone they play with. Now, we respect everybody's opinions in the lifestyle. We respect that everybody has, different opinions on things. They go about the lifestyle in different ways. They have different rules. For us, that's a little too risky. So our rule was that with this particular couple, we would set up play dates enough in advance so they could get screened before playing with us. Now, admittedly, they were not totally happy with us at first when we essentially demanded that this occurs, that they get tested before playing with us. But they came around because we became, pretty good friends with them. So we really liked each other. We loved each other's company. We loved playing with each other. So it ended up working out. But we just felt it was just too risky because, again, they refused to wear condoms with anyone, like anyone they played with. And that's fine. That's their thing. And like I said, we'll respect that. But then they had to reciprocate and respect our rule too. But as of this recording, things have changed. That couple is out of the lifestyle for other reasons. And the first couple that I mentioned, we don't play with them as often anymore. So we decided to go back to condoms with them. And just yesterday, recording this in April of 2024, we have finally found another couple whom we trust, we love to hang out with, we love, we play with them, we love to play with them regularly. And so we just established this no condom rule with them. So all this planning, all this crap, because of the risk of damn STIs. So let me get into a story and explain why we have come to take safety so seriously. Now, obviously, I believe it should be taken seriously no matter what, but we have come to take it extra serious. So let's begin our tale for today. In previous episodes, I had mentioned a woman who I consider to be the hottest woman on the Champaign site. And if you're joining me for the first time, Champaign is a former lifestyle club. Now their business is putting on hotel takeovers and parties, and they have a site where you can go and members can interact with each other, post pictures and things like that. So that's what I'm referring to when I say the Champaign site. So this particular woman, I saw her at 2 hotel takeovers, and it was like she was a celebrity. Okay, I couldn't have talked to her if I tried, like out of my league completely. And for the record, her husband is very attractive too. Okay, Eva was really attracted to him. So I'm going to call them from here on out as, I'm going to refer to them as the 420 couple because, well, they seem to really enjoy, they seem to really enjoy that, as I will get into. Well, we all became friends on the Champaign site and some other apps. So we had seen each other's pictures and videos, but it never got beyond that. They live about an hour north of us, which really isn't that bad, especially if we were ever to meet halfway. We did have one texting interaction that I remember. Eva and I were going to meet the Toledo couple from episode 6. We're going to meet them for dinner. And the halfway point between Toledo and where we live, it's approximately where the 420 couple lived. So I thought it might be a good way to open the door for communication if I asked for some advice on a good restaurant in the area where they lived. Now, they were super nice, super helpful. And after the dinner, at a place that they recommended, they even texted us to ask how it went. So we ended up chatting on and off a little bit after that. Then one day, out of the blue, they texted us and asked if we wanted to come over to their house to watch the Ohio State football game on Saturday. Now, Eva and I have no interest whatsoever in college football. None. But we thought this would be a nice opportunity to get to know this couple. And of course, I was over the moon. I mean, the hottest woman I had seen in the lifestyle so far at that point wanted me to come to her house and hang out and watch football. So we accepted. Guys, listeners, I really thought we were going to go over there to watch the game. And that's my dog saying hello. But apparently, there were other plans. When we arrived at their house, there was no place to park. Their driveway was jammed with cars. I ended up parking our vehicle on the street on a fairly busy stretch of road, partially on their front lawn. And Eva and I were like, I guess we weren't the only ones invited to watch this football game. Undaunted, we went to the front door, and that was the very first moment we had any interaction in person with the 420 couple. And she was just as hot in person. I was so happy to be there and to try to work whatever magic I had in this old body. So we were invited in, and we were introduced to everyone in attendance. We didn't know anybody else there. And I would say there were, I'd say half a dozen other couples at least. Probably more, maybe 8. Now, based on the way some of them were dressed, I suspected that something was up. So I just very casually said to the 420 husband, I said, so are all these lifestyle couples? And he was like, yeah. Like matter of factly, like I should have known this already. So yeah, this may not be just a football watching party. Now, I figured we were the only ones invited. I thought this was just going to be Eva and I just, hanging out with this couple, watching a football game, talking. Nope. Not at all. All right, so the game was on the TV, and we all sat in this large living room area. They had a really nice house, really big open space, and people paid casual attention to the game, but most were just having their own little chats. Eva was doing her thing, making everyone love her as she always does. The seating arrangement just kind of worked out weird. So Eva was on a couch talking to some people, and I ended up on a separate love seat by myself. Like I just kind of being the uncomfortably shy dude that I always am. Kind of listening to everybody's conversations, chiming in occasionally, and pretending that I was really interested in this football game. So 420 wife noticed at some point that I was alone on the love seat, and she came over and joined me. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. My heart was pounding. I was probably sweating. I probably fumbled my words and mumbled and fidgeted and squirmed. But she was so super nice. And, we talked about our jobs, life, things like that. We did have some things that were in common. So that was nice. And then during this time, a lot of weed came out. A lot. So Eva and I had no interest in that, but most everyone else did. So there were a lot of people getting high. Now, everyone was in this living room watching the game on probably I would say a 65-inch TV, which was fine. But the 420 husband wanted to move the party to the basement where they had a huge projection TV that they wanted to project on the wall. But he was having some technical difficulties. So I heard him down there, and I decided to go down and see if there was anything I could do to help. I went down to the basement, and I noticed something immediately. Off to the sides of the living space, there were 2 other rooms. One room had a big bed, it was either queen or king, with all these like electronic candles lit around it. And the other room had 3 queen-size mattresses all made up and ready to go. So yeah, they were playrooms. Yup, we had unknowingly walked into our first ever sex party. Eva, to this day, will say that she knew ahead of time what was going on. I, on the other hand, was completely oblivious. I was going over someone's house to watch football and get to know someone. So once again, in typical Evan fashion, I misread the situation. I didn't pick up on the hints and the signals. So we got the projection TV set up, and some of the couples that were upstairs came downstairs to join us. Now, 420 wife ended up coming right to the couch to sit next to me. She threw a blanket on top of us, and she cuddled up to me to watch the game. I was like sweating bullets, but I was about as close as you can be to like just freaking out. Like, I could not believe this was happening. I mean, I dreamed about this girl. I pined for this girl. I wanted this girl so badly and had wanted her since I first set my eyes on her. And here she was, suddenly cuddled up next to me on a couch at a sex party. Oh, all right. Well, let me move on here. Halftime rolled around, and the 420 couple asked if anyone wanted to go in the swim spa they had. Now, I had never seen a swim spa before. I'd never even heard of one. So if you're like me, let me explain what it is. It's kind of like a big hot tub, but it's large enough to kind of swim around in. So it's bigger than a hot tub. So we walked outside, and 420 wife immediately whipped off her top, boobs out in all their glory. Right around that point, I pulled Eva to the side. I asked what she wanted to do. Since we did not know, or at least I didn't know, we were walking into a sex party, I didn't know what our plan of action was. I mean, this was a new experience for us. This was unexpected. I was perfectly fine leaving, but I obviously didn't want to. Things were getting steamy. But I wanted to make sure that Eva was comfortable. You know, I want to do what she wanted to do. I assumed she was going to say, all right, let's pack up and start heading home. But to my pleasant surprise, Eva says to me, I want to stay and fuck them. I love it when Eva surprises me. She still has this way of surprising me with things like this, and I love it about her. I really expected her to say, let's, make up an excuse and leave. But no, she was on board and ready to fuck. And now almost everyone was getting into the swim spa. Now, I would say about half the guests, not everyone. About half the guests, I would say stayed inside because they were intent on watching the game. So obviously, we didn't come prepared, because again, we're just coming to this house to watch some football. So we didn't bring swimsuits or towels or anything like that. Neither Eva nor myself were comfortable getting in naked. So I just jumped in with my boxer briefs, and Eva took her top off and went in with just her thong panties on. So we kind of swam around and chatted with everyone, and things got a little kissy, touchy with some couples. So the 420 husband started kissing Eva, and I got close to the 420 wife. I started getting handsy with her a little bit and touched her boobs. And then we kissed a little bit. She pretty much stuck to me the entire time we were in the pool. I was like, how the hell is this actually happening? She started grinding on me, like dry fucking me. Well, I mean, it was a pool. I don't know if that's actually still considered dry fucking, but she did that. She grabbed my dick through my underwear. I started rubbing her pussy through her bottoms. Because she was wearing her panties. At some point, she asked me if I was ready to go to the basement. Yes, I was. So it was the 420 couple, Eva and myself, and one other couple from the pool who got out to head to the basement. There were, I would say, 2 or 3 other couples, maybe 4, who remained in the swim spa, and they actually started going at it pretty good. The last image I remember from that pool was a naked woman laying on her back, almost floating on the water, while a guy was going down on her, and another guy and another girl were kissing her and sucking on her nipples. So it was pretty hot stuff. So we went down to the basement, and so it was the three couples, and then one other couple from the living room joined us. So 4 couples total. In that room I mentioned earlier with the 3 mattresses in the basement. Now they were more like beds though, with like box springs. I mean they weren't just one mattress sitting on the floor. So now I have to note something weird here. So there are 4 couples in the room. One of the couples was a young couple. She was 22 and he was like 30. And this was their first ever lifestyle experience. Ever. Like they had never swapped, full or soft. They had never done anything. This was literally their introductory experience into the lifestyle. Now, Eva kissed the dude in the pool, but other than that, they wouldn't interact physically with anyone. And it was the girl who forbid it. Because I remember the 420 husband asking if he could kiss her, and she flat out said no. And she was fucking hot too, like super hot body. And the guy, he had an absolutely enormous dick, like the biggest one I had ever seen in real life, hands down. But they were just there to parallel play, I guess. Well, at least she was. I think the guy wanted to do more, but she wouldn't allow it. So that means there were 3 other couples in the room. The other couple wasn't super duper attractive. They weren't ugly, but I certainly wasn't dying to play with them. I was dying to play with the 420 wife. So we actually started off with our own partners, but quickly things changed. The 420 husband was very assertive and got Eva, like, not pried her away from me violently, but kind of prompted her, pulled her away, and started giving her oral. So that prompted the 420 wife to come over and start sucking my dick. And I still could not believe it. I remember thinking that she was like my ultimate goal in the lifestyle. Like, after I was with her, there couldn't be anybody better or any hotter than her. And she did something to me that no one has ever done, and that is she spit on my dick excessively while she stroked and sucked it. Now, it felt great, don't get me wrong, but I'm not really the kind of guy who really enjoys seeing the spitting involved. I mean, it's not bad. It doesn't necessarily gross me out or anything. It's just not something that really, gets me going. So then next I went down on her. Phenomenal. Everything I hoped it would be. And then she said something like, "Fuck me now." I was not going to turn that down. I remember putting on the condom and thinking to myself, holy shit, I am about to fuck the 420 wife. I have really low self-confidence. I think I've mentioned that before in a different podcast. So this was just not possible. This is just unreal. So I hopped on top of her, entered her right away, and thrust it away. And she did this thing where she wrapped her legs and arms around me and pulled me tight to her body, like tightly, like really tight. It was interesting. And then she motioned me off and hopped on top of me and rode me for a bit. And that was amazing too. Both how it felt and how it looked, because here I am getting fucked by the hottest woman in the lifestyle, in my opinion, and at the time. And I forget how the ride ended, but we ended up taking a break and getting some water. So now Eva had just finished getting railed by the 420 dude. And later she told me that he hit all the right spots. So she had a good time. So that was nice. But while I was taking this break, I noticed Eva was sucking the 420 dude's dick again. She was bent over the bed doing so, and the other guy, the one that I said earlier that he and his woman were not super duper attractive, well, he started positioning himself behind Eva to fuck her, like he was putting on a condom, getting ready. And I thought, oh shit, Eva's not going to like some random guy coming up behind her and putting his dick in her. She doesn't even know the guy's name. But Eva surprised me again. I watched as she noticed him positioning himself with his, hate to say it, but kind of small dick behind her. And then I noticed she like arched her body in a way to like better accommodate him. So it was on. She was into it. So I was very turned on, and the dude saw me watching and motioned me to come over and fuck his woman. And the only words we spoke all night to that point was an introduction. So basically, we were fucking strangers tonight. So I came over, I think I said something like, is this okay? And so I started kissing the girl's boobs. They were very big. And then I asked if it was okay to put a condom on. So basically asking for permission to have sex with her. And she said sure. So I got another condom on, and I started having sex with her in the missionary position while Eva was getting fucked from behind next to me. It was very sexy, but I didn't feel like I could finish, okay? And I'm not sure if the dude finished or not, but this was a lot of work, for me at least. Fucking 3 different women. It's more than I ever expected. So I needed another break at one point, and I think anxiety was kicking in too. There was just a lot going on. So I got more water, and we ended up going back to having sex with the 420 couple again. Eva wanted to ride him, and I got to fuck the 420 wife from behind. And let me tell you, her butt was absolutely amazing, and I got to watch it as my dick went in and out of her pussy, and it was just absolutely like a dream come true. The entire time, I did not finish. The entire time I was at that house party, did not finish. And again, I'm not sure if it was nerves, but even with the Viagra, I had trouble getting a full erection too. Just a lot of anxiety in that situation. The party was still jumping, but Eva and I quickly realized that time had kind of gotten away from us, and we decided we needed to leave. Because remember, we were just there to watch a football game. So our kids expected us home at a decent hour. So we probably missed out on a shitload of shenanigans. But that's okay. We certainly had our fun. It was a very hot, memorable night. But you know the phrase, all good things come to an end? Well, that's true. And sometimes they just turn to crap. So 2 bad things, or not, I would say, I don't know, not bad, negative, we'll just say negative things came out of that. It became very clear that the 420 couple, they were not who we thought they were. They were interested in notches on their bedpost. It seems like they're in it for the body count, not the friends with benefits, the friends with benefit relationships that Eva and I prefer. So we ended up chatting with them off and on in the couple of months after the party, and we even got invited to their Christmas party. But we could not attend for some reason, and things ended up fizzling out. They even said at one point that they wanted to hang out with us again, but they completely stopped responding to my messages altogether. And I'm not the type to keep sending messages and like begging for a reply. If you stop talking to me, fine, that's fine. You won't hear from me again. If you want to talk to me again, you know how to reach me. That's kind of the way I run things with my messaging. But the major realization came at the next hotel takeover we went to. I can't even remember when that was. Okay, my timing is a little off here, but perhaps the spring. And we saw the 420 couple by the dance floor, so we went over to say hello. I kid you not, listeners, they did not know who we were. They certainly did not remember our names, and you can tell by their expressions that they did not recognize us. They understood we knew them, but they couldn't tell who we were. So that's what made it obvious to us that we were just notches on their bedpost. They want to fuck as many different people as they can. They were fuck them and leave them type people, and that's fine. No hard feelings. I mean, if you look at their social media, not social media, their lifestyle accounts, I mean, they have an absolute shitload of friends. Like, they are connected with so many people. A ridiculous number of people. Like, crazy amount. They're friends with everybody. So that's just the way they are. And again, no hard feelings. That's fine. I think I've said this a few times, but it's important to realize people want different things out of the lifestyle. And it sucks when our desires don't match the desires of other couples we're interested in. But it happens. So we have not interacted with them since, be it in person or via text message. But the ultimate slap in the face came about a month or a month and a half after that football sexy party. Eva started having some issues. I don't want to be too gross with this, but some bleeding. It started as minimal, and she thought it was a period. Now, Eva has a UTI, but even with that, she does still have random periods occasionally, but they're light and they don't last very long. Well, this one kept going, and it got worse. She feared something was wrong with her UTI, so she went to have it checked. There was nothing wrong. The doctors thought it might be an infection of some kind, and just to be sure, they said they wanted to do an STI screening. Well, it just so happens that Eva had to accompany her mom to a funeral in Atlanta. She was in the Atlanta airport bathroom when she received a call from her doctor to inform her that she had gonorrhea. Now, I felt so bad. She was with her mom in an airport far away from home, going to a funeral, and now she has to deal with this news. Well, the next day, upon her return, she immediately went to a walk-in clinic to be treated. I went in too. I got treated too. And I did not have any symptoms. They did a test on me too, just in case, and it came back negative a few days later. But that was it. Treatment for gonorrhea is actually so easy. One shot in the butt and you're done. It's actually a lot more convenient than treatment for, some other illnesses like Eva will tell you it's easier than treating strep throat. But with that came a bunch of uncomfortable situations. Eva got a letter from our county health department, and it said something like, "Hey, we're aware you've been diagnosed with an STI, so make sure you get treated." And that came like 2 weeks after she was treated, by the way, so they were a little late. But that was a little uncomfortable. It's like, wait a minute, who do we know that works at the county health department? So, we don't know if someone that we know saw these results or had to send that letter. I mean, somebody at the health department knows about us now. We also had to contact the couples we had been with to let them know. We felt it was the right thing to do. In a month and a half, we had been with 3 different couples. 2 of the couples took it in stride. The other couple, the batshit crazy couple from episode 7, well, Batgirl flipped out. she got very nasty and accusatory. And that's when she started screenshotting my text with her and sharing it with the other couple that I mentioned. So, that was private stuff. I mean, this is private matters, private lifestyle matters. And she violated my trust. So that meant our friendship was now over. You violate my trust and our friendship is over. But after all was said and done, everyone got tested. And everyone was negative. So that means Eva had to contract it at the party. And the thing is, at that party, everyone was super careful. Condoms were used. When a partner was switched, a different condom was put on. Everybody was careful. So, anyway, let's see, what else can I tell you here? We had no way of contacting that not quite so attractive couple. We didn't know who they were. We hoped it would get back to them and they would be tested and screened, but we just barely knew their names, so we had no way to contact them. But I do wonder if, looking back, if we should have made a more concerted effort. But this was a new situation for us, and we didn't know the etiquette. The clinic we went to informed us that we only should be informing any partners from the last few weeks, but we were not obligated to inform partners from over a month ago. So that's why we never even contacted the 420 couple, because according to this clinic, Eva must have contracted it within the last few weeks. It could not have been from that party a month or a month and a half before, whenever it was. So that made it even weirder. Eva had this STI now for a month or a month and a half, never transmitted it to me or any of our other partners. And again, all our other partners tested negative. So it had to be from that party, right? But the time frames just didn't add up. So it still stumps us to this day. We're still not sure, but our theory is that it came from that house party. Regardless, we got it taken care of, okay? In a week, Eva was back to normal and our sex life was back to normal. But we learned quite the lessons from this experience. First of all, things in the lifestyle, not always what you expect. Second thing, people are not always what you expect. I'm thrilled that I got to have a sexual experience with the hot 420 wife. I wish I could do it again. But they're what we call bed hoppers. They're just interested in their body count or whatever it's called, and notches on their belt. They want different things from the lifestyle than we do, unfortunately. And of course, we learned that condoms are not 100% effective against stopping the transmission of STDs. Eva is living proof of that. You can be so careful, and it can still bite you in the ass. So, being in the lifestyle, we have accepted the risk of STIs. They're going to happen even if you are super careful. We're just glad that it was gonorrhea, which is very easily treated. Our lives right now would be dramatically different if it was HIV or herpes, things that don't have a cure. So we're thankful and understand that we are risking our health being in the lifestyle. It is a risk. We just have to take what precautions we can to reduce the risk. Nothing will eliminate the risk, okay? It'll always be there, and we just have to accept that it is risk reduction only. There is no 100% prevention of STDs. It just doesn't exist. And again, we're living proof of this. So, my listeners, be safe, okay? Get screened regularly. Even if you have used condoms 100% of the time you've played, get screened anyway, because as I've just told you, it is possible that you can get an STI while using condoms. It happens. And if you do contract an STD, get it taken care of ASAP. Tell all your recent partners ASAP. Do the right thing. There's nothing to be embarrassed about, okay? Eva and I were not embarrassed at all. Maybe a little uncomfortable by the health department letter. But, sicknesses, illnesses, they're part of life. They're a real thing that are part of a sexually active lifestyle with multiple partners. So if you can accept that it could happen, don't be ashamed when it does happen. Just get it taken care of and let everyone who might be affected know so that they can be screened as well. And again, Eva and I get screened routinely 3 to 4 times a year each. It's pricey, but we feel it is worth the peace of mind, and it is what we feel is fair to our partners. We just feel like it's the right thing to do. And again, just our opinion. So, that was an episode chock full of information and lessons. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this episode, or at least learned something from it. I think it's important to hear things like this from lifestyle couples, honest experiences, people who have actually experienced some of this stuff. The lifestyle, as absolutely awesome as it is, it does have its downfalls. It does have its risks. And the risk of STIs is certainly one of those downfalls. If you guys have further questions about all this, about the STD, STI stuff, feel free to reach out to me. I'm obviously not a medical professional, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you have based on Eva's experience, based on our experience. So, or you can contact me for other reasons. If you have questions or comments about the show, I would love to hear from you. I hope to hear from you so that I can maybe start addressing some questions and topics that you guys propose in future episodes. So feel free to connect with me. You can find me on Kik or Instagram at Evan Dienson. That's EvanDeanson, Evan Dienson. And I really hate the phrase, we're all in this together. But in the lifestyle, that rings true. We really are. We're in like this tight community, I'd say. And so any help I can give, any advice that I can give that would be accepted and appreciated, I'm here for you. So that's all for now. Take care, everyone. I hope you come back and join me again on a future episode of Evan Swings. Bye for now.